Good evening, race fans. Welcome to the Core Racing Network and welcome to the last Great Coliseum. We are here at the half-mile high-banked concrete Bristol Motor Speedway for 150 laps of racing action here for the Hold Your Brakes Academy. And it's just there's not much you can say that you don't really already know about Bristol. I mean, it's a short track. It's only a half mile. The concrete is certainly going to chew up the tires, and if you're just a little bit too loosey-goosey on the throttle and wanting to jump on a little bit too much out of these corners, it's going to catch you, and it's going to catch you real quick, and you're not going to be able to catch the car because it's going to snap out of there. So drivers going to have maybe a little bit of a handful here if they're trying to get a little too aggressive, and you got to treat this thing like a super speedway. Even though it is a fifth of the distance, you have to treat it like an endurance race. You have to have a car there by the end of the race to be able to compete and get this thing done. Good sized field out here tonight. Hopefully we get a majority, if not all of them, to cross that checker flag. Car line work joined in the booth by Jimmy Covert. Jimmy, race number 2 here for HBYA or HYBA, if I can pronounce the letters right. But it was a pretty good start for them last week at Homestead. Hopefully we'll see the same thing here tonight at Bristol.
Yeah, definitely a decent start to the season, and it's now a little bit more challenging. Obviously, short track, concrete, and very high banking, very fast, and comes a lot of treachery and trying to hold on to that tire. And with some newer drivers out there, obviously, trying to manage the tires. The drivers out here do get 75% of a tank. So that's a lot of laps here. We'll just say that there's definitely some thought that has to go into when they want to come in, how well they save their tires and whatnot. But it's going to be an interesting one here. I would like to apologize to everybody out there. I don't know why SDK is not transferring over to OBS. I have it on my screen, but not over there. So probably end up making a change here quick. But either way, we got obviously got 150 laps here. Last count that I had was about 27 drivers, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see who's going to come on top here at this aka short track.
It is a short track, and I know how you feel about short tracks, but I know this one holds a near and dear spot in your heart here, having some success here at Bristol. But yeah, I mean, it's a good sized field. Looks like it's now up to 28. I think we had another driver even pop in here late as they're out there getting their qualifying in right now, and we're gonna get a word here with our sponsor for tonight's race. We're gonna bring him in right now, and that is the driver of the 94, Robert Altman. Robert, you decided to sponsor the race here at Bristol. It is. It can be a fun little short track here, but I guess first question is, what made you want to pick Bristol for your race?
I know this season we hadn't ran any short tracks yet, so I figured let's throw a curveball out there and see who can hang that. And I'm going to Bristol later this year, so.
Very nice. Yeah, I was there a few years ago when they threw some dirt down there, and got to see the truck race and the NASCAR race there. It was certainly an experience, and trying to get down these the bleachers with a little bit of dirt on it. That was not exactly fun. It was fun watching some of the other people trying to get down there as well. But we got the asphalt Bristol here tonight, and it's the Turtles Bash 150. So give us a little bit of idea about the name of the race here tonight.
Well, pretty much, I don't know if anyone knows, but today is my 34th birthday, so I figured might as well throw a bash out there. Let's just throw some chaos and have some fun.
Well, happy birthday. Hopefully you get to celebrate this thing up in Victory Lane. But before we let you go and get out of here and get back behind the wheel of that 94, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Well, I see Carson in the chat. CKR, got to shout him out. He's helped me out a lot. Then Jeremy Proctor, the entire league. Dalton for stepping up for me this week. My usual spotter, Aikmans, wasn't able to make it. So, just see how this race goes. Just a battle of attrition.
Exactly. Yeah. Hopefully you can just survive this thing and get to the end. Well, wish you luck out there. And before we let you go, are you okay to get brought in during cautions if we have some time and you're not too busy out there?
Oh yeah, that's fine.
All right, perfect. All right, well, we'll let you go get back in the 94. Wish you luck. Maybe we'll talk to you during the race. Maybe we'll talk to you after the race in the top 3.
Hopefully.
All right, that is your sponsor for tonight's race, driver of the 94, Robert Altman. Want to bring in another sponsor here, and that is the sponsor of the series, Joe Thomas with pinupsforvets.com. And Joe, we get to bring in here. We're going to bring in here a couple times. We're going to bring in here tonight, and then you have a sponsored race later on this season at Michigan. Very good choice, by the way. But before we let you get out there to the track, I know it's coming down here to the end. I want to give you some time to talk about pinupsforvets.com.
Yeah, thanks for having me here before the race really quick, and able to talk as a series sponsor for Pinups for Vets. And I brought them on as a kind of a compromise between me and Shane, me wanting to cover the broadcast and a couple other expenses for the series, because I see its potential for what it could be. And it's already grown beyond what Shane has and I have. And as for Pinups for Vets, I got the read up here, and it's their mission is to raise funds to improve veterans healthcare, donates funds to VA hospitals as well as medical equipment, and improves the quality of life for ill veterans across the United States through personal bedside visits, dressed up as 40s era pinups, deliver gifts, promotes volunteerism at veterans hospitals, supports homeless vets with clothing and gifts delivered to shelters, boosts morale for military wives and female veterans with makeovers, and boosts morale for deployed troops through delivery of care packages. And you can go to pinupsforvets.com to see that mission, see a couple of pictures and videos, and buy some memorabilia and or calendars themselves, and even donate them direct to deployed service members or veterans in the hospitals.
Jimmy, I'll turn it over to you, because I know that's obviously a little more near and dear to your heart as well, being a veteran. So what do you have for Joe?
No, I just appreciate for doing that, getting that sponsorship. It is big. I obviously received packages in the past from the same society, so it does help out there when you get out there. You're out there a long time without any real contact from anybody but your coworkers. So it's really appreciated by the veterans. I am 100% sure of that. So, but I really appreciate your time bringing them on board, and I hope you have a great race tonight.
Yeah, and Gina is very appreciative for the very interesting way of spreading the word, and she's very happy I'm on board with her. And yeah, I've received a couple of those random care packages as well.
All right, buddy. Well, we'll wish you luck out there. I'll let you get into the 218. I see you guys are pacing out there. Pretty good starting spot for you, just outside the top 10. We'll see if you get up there to the top 3. Talk to us afterwards. If not, like I said, we'll certainly be talking to you later this season at Michigan. But thank you once again for being the title sponsor of this series. I know Shane appreciates it. I know all the drivers in here appreciate it, and we appreciate you thinking of us for the broadcasting here. So good luck out there, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon.
Yep, and I'll be in. I'm not going to switch rooms, so you can pull me in if there's any cautions. I'll see you later.
Sounds good. That is driver of the 218, Joe Thomas. We are ready to get racing here at Bristol. It's going to be 150 laps of, well, like Robert said, attrition. It is going to be one where you just got to survive this thing for the first 100 or so laps, if not more, and then worry about it from there. But green flag is in the air, and we are racing here at Bristol.
Yeah, where they go, and obviously watch the start here as all the cars are got cold tires, and definitely trying to push the limits as you are stacked up, trying to get them spots. But obviously, drivers reminded to be a little patient, give each other room, and have some fun here tonight. But the Ford of Jeremy Gill gets out to that early lead over the 13 to Christian Proctor. The 1 of Timothy Presley running some diamond corners there on that number 1 High Rock machine. But it looks like we do have some action towards the back of the pack there with Kelly Akron slow on the inside, so a little low, but the 1 getting loose as well. Oh, and the 1 touches Akron down on the apron there, so kind of a mid collision there. But we'll go ahead and we'll see what
Kind of
happened
worst
there.
case
is we're
scenario there.
we're still under green. We'll see what happened to Kelly. And obviously just a little get down on apron, gets a little bit loose. Gonna end up going around there right down the front stretch off the racing surface. I am really surprised that Iracing didn't call a flag, but definitely here green. And we got another one as this is a challenging track here for drivers. Got a little bit going on there with Jarrett Martin as well. So we're going to go ahead and see what happened here. I see a lot of smoke on the track. It's going to be hard to keep up with some of the crashes right here. Here's a bigger one here tonight. With a few drivers involved. You see the 00 and the 53 getting together. I sit down at the bottom of the screen, the 60 as well. Robert White, Ryan Perrone. So a lot of things going on right now. So there's more still coming up. We're on lap 7. We still got cars
Big wobble by the 1 right there.
Yeah, we got cars going all over the place. No, still no caution here as we're on lap 7 of 150. And things go around in a heartbeat here. We'll go try to catch Ryan Perrone and see what happened with him. As there's a lot of cars, got a lot of groups up. Look, there's a big old gather right here. No caution, so I don't know what's going on.
Oh, that was a big incident there between the 44 and the 50, and now we do have the caution here. So I'm guessing the iRacing caution is maybe not on for this race, but we do get an admin caution there as we're going to get this thing grouped back up and kind of catch our breath and let about half of this field get into the pits and get some repairs. I mean, right now we got I'm looking at I think 8 cars in the pits getting some kind of repairs done, as this was a bit of carnage here at the beginning. So quite a few cars. It looks like Timothy Presley, Joe Thomas, Robert White, Jorge Ledesma, Tiffany Ellis, Ryan Perrone Sr., William Martin, Tristan Miner, just to name a few that were involved in incidents. I mean, we've seen Kelly Akron go for a little spin, but this was quite a bit here in the first 10 laps. I mean, we got through a bunch of it. We got through, but it's going to end up going under caution here via the admins, and we will collectively catch our breath.
Yeah, I think they're going to collectively catch their breath because in 10 laps, Carl, about 12 drivers want at least a lap down. So David Chapman, Sean McLean, Jarrett Martin, Steve Harrison, Kelly Akron, Joe Thomas, Robert White, Tiffany Ellis, Timothy Presley, Ryan Perrone, George Ledesma, William Martin, and Tristan Miner all going laps down. So I'll go ahead and bring up the tower and show you the gap between everybody so you can see who's a lap down. But some drivers even multiple laps down, Carl. So a lot of kind of chaos and kind of unfolded. So be kind of curious to see how the admins take care of this and maybe just throw the caution, let everybody get kind of fixed and keep this thing going. But it's going to be an interesting race. Like I said, it is a 1 mile Soup Bowl, and it's
Yes.
It's a half mile. What?
Yeah, half mile. Yep.
Half mile Soup Bowl. Okay, but it's definitely it's one of those tracks that's you get around here so fast and you get so confident. You're raised up on this track, through the ARCA series and obviously the C trucks and then now these Xfinity cars. So there's a lot of growing on these tracks, and it's a track that a lot of drivers kind of get used to, but it's never one that that you get the full hang of it like right off the rip. You gotta really get those hundreds and thousands of laps around here, which doesn't take very long. As you can see, it takes about 15 seconds to get around this track, so it doesn't take long to get a bunch of laps. It's just trying to nail those entrances and exits time after time. And with the overall the ever changing fuel levels, the tire wear, and it's on the driver, to manage them tires. You overdrive this car, and you can. Within 10 laps, your tires are toast, and they're pretty much no good. But we're too wide again, and the pace car is coming down in. We're going to restart here again, and it's going to be Jeremy Gill on the pole on the loud pedal. He's getting out up front. He's going to stay in that clean air right now. Christopher Parker behind him. Matt Ullman's in second. DB's in fourth, and Joshua King's in fifth.
And it's worth mentioning too, another factor with the ever-changingness is the sunsetting. As this race started, kind of late afternoon, but it's on 4 times the speed when it comes to, how the time is run here in iRacing. So, you know, every second is actually 4 seconds in iRacing time for this race here tonight. So it's gonna get darker. It's gonna get, well, I mean, the lights are going to go on, so it's not really going to get darker, but the sun's going to set more, the track's going to get cooler, and it's certainly going to change the handling before the night is over. But certainly some big changes for our top 10 here in qualifying. Jeremy Gill and Christian Proctor started on the front row. They're still 1 and 2, but third place was Timothy Presley. He's now back in 22nd. Fourth place was Kelly Akron, now back in 19th. So some of our heavy hitters at the front of this race stuck way back in the pack after some early issues. The rest of the top 10 pretty much all still up there. But, you know, some major moves to the back for our second row. I guess that was the row you didn't want to be on here to start here. A little bobble there by the 00, getting back going here. But out front, it is Jeremy Gill leading the way. Seen a couple of drivers having some connection issues. Looks like even Shane King having some connection issues, so he got sent to the pits and waiting to see if he's back out there. And it looks like he's still in pit lane, and that's you know, one of iRacing's new things. They really want to take to heart what the drivers out there are talking about with the you know, with connection issues with some of the drivers out there, and really kind of killing the you know, killing the races, killing some other people's cars as well. And it looks like we got some more around here.
Some more around here. Yeah, definitely caution flag flying again. So obviously manually. So I guess, like I said, to see the 00s hitting the wall, spinning in the air, and just kind of bouncing around. See the 22 facing backwards the opposite way and just sitting there. Obviously towing, but. You know, that's going to bring out just, you know, people just trying, the 22 just gets caught up, nowhere to go as the 22 spins there. And it took a little while for the caution to kind of come out. So, but some real hefty avoidance there. This 22 obviously does not like staring the other way, and you want to get off the track, but definitely not much time. Like I said, it's 15 seconds to get around here. And if any time at all, you know, for these drivers, you know, it's like it's split seconds to make the decision to get off the track. So caution comes out here. We're on lap 24 of 150, so already 24 laps down in the books. And obviously, you know, it's been pretty shaky here. This is, like I said, Carl, this is a challenge for these newer drivers here at iRacing. Not all of them, but we do definitely have our fair share of newer drivers out here. And this car is fast. It can be hard to control. And hard to be consistent with, and especially, like I said, with that revolving change of, you know, car to track, you know. But and like you mentioned, I didn't even think about it, but obviously the temperature and the weather, not temperature, but the sun going down, the track getting cooler. There's all kinds of things affecting this car right now. So these drivers definitely have their hands full. Not too bad. I have to say, not too bad of a start for some of the drivers up front. Obviously, some falling back to the wayside. Do have a couple decent movers there. We'll go ahead and go back to the number 53 of Robert Miner in the Coca-Cola machine. He's up 12 spots up in the P number 9. So being able to avoid you know, incidents on the track is a big part of Bristol. And there he sits up there in P number 9, so has broke the top 10. Matt Bryant and Dave Chapman both back here in 11th and 12th. They both up 11 spots, along with Sean McLean here in the number 6.
It looks like Shane King is still not out there, and it may be a situation where he's just gonna kind of withhold and stay out there and kind of just do a little race admitting for this race, as he was the one that dropped the caution for this one as well. But yeah, I mean, he's seen 15 to 16 second lap times here at Bristol. It is a fast half mile with all this banking out here, so the laps do get by pretty quickly once we're under green, and that's where we're about to head to once again here, as it's going to be in control here by Jeremy Gill. He's back on the loud pedal. We're racing again here at Bristol. Pretty good start from the first couple rows here. Gill leads him into turn number 1. A little bit of a battle for second between Proctor and Beef, but it looks like Proctor is going to hold on to second. Beef in third, Smith, Ulmer for your top 5. Then you got Lanier, excuse me, Jones, Minor, Osborne, and White for your top 10.
You're almost getting tied up with the 57, but nice move there. Move Minor into P number 8. Up 13 spots. So we'll try to go back to the field here for everybody. Obviously, want to welcome all our CRN fans out there, and appreciate y'all stopping by to watch the drivers here at Hold Your Brakes for their challenge here tonight, as I would call it, here at Bristol, because it's definitely a challenging track. We'll go back. So if you got whoever you're voting for, let us know. They'll get them some TV time. See how they're doing, how they're making out as this race progresses through the night. So Timothy Presley, one of those drivers that was up front, obviously finds himself towards the back of the pack, so has some work to do for himself here tonight in that number 1 car.
Yeah, Bristol is a real popular track to head to. If you're going to throw a short track on the schedule, a lot of times Bristol is kind of the one that's leaned on. Obviously, the popularity comes into play of Bristol, but I mean, there's plenty of other tracks out there. Nice save there by the 41 of Matt Bryant. But I think it's really the banking. It kind of gives the drivers a little bit of a safety, that they feel like they can handle the car a little bit better around this track, and they don't have to really slam on the brakes and try and make it around a flat corner, like if you go to some of your other tracks like Martinsville, same size as Bristol. They're both half-mile tracks, but Martinsville, it's paperclip, and you're really hard on the brakes trying to get that thing to turn, and more often than not, the only way you're going to make any passes are a little bit of a bump and run. And a newer beginner type of a series like this here with the Hold Your Brakes Academy, not exactly what you want. You want to try and keep drivers off of each other, not kind of instigate it by going to a track like Martinsville. But it's the same thing with Bristol. You kind of get comfortable with it, and all of a sudden you start getting a little bit more aggressive, and like I mentioned, I mean, you get just a little bit too aggressive on the throttle coming out of these corners. I mean, you see the banking riding along with Shane McLean right now, and a good save there, got a little bit loose and got back up on the track. But you see how much banking is in the corners, but you see how much it flattens out. Still a little bit of banking on the straightaways, but that big old difference between the corner banking and then coming back up off the track, that's what really wants to upset the car.
Yeah, and that's where the drivers find, obviously catching that, and you'll see a lot of drivers will come in low, they'll go up high, and then they'll come back down, obviously, after the car gets pointed in the right direction. You'll see some drivers just kind of go, start high, come down low. You'll see some drivers ride the high line. There's many races, as a matter of fact, that the race that I won here, it was in the ARCA car, and it was a high line type of race. That's where I stayed the whole race, and was able to make my way to the finish line. But it's definitely, like I said, it's a challenge here, and it really did take some time to kind of figure out how to save these tires. I don't know how well I would do right about now about saving tires, because it's been quite a while since I've driven like an actual full race. Obviously, I'll get out there, do some practice laps. You're like, man, I'm a little rusty, but you get out there, you get some laps, and you know what the car's supposed to feel like. Just doing like the whole 150 laps, that's not for me these days with these ovals. I like watching them. So I got plenty of time up. I got plenty of time up here in the booth, and like you've seen, like the first 25 laps, Carl, there was a mess of cars doing lots of stuff, and these drivers are finally calmed down and figured it out, and now we're on a good 20 lap run here. We're on lap 44 of 150, and up front it is still Jeremy Gill, as he was last season's mid race champion there with those mid-sized tracks, but he's leading the way right now over Christian Proctor and DBS. They've gotten themselves in some traffic now, so that's one thing that you have when you have a pretty big variance of other drivers, is you got some are obviously going to be faster than others. Maybe some are saving, but when they get together, can they hold on? 69 does a fantastic job. Everybody else around him as well is checking up to save that thing. Nice job there for the 69 of Robert White.
Yeah, Gil looking to go back-to-back after winning the season opener last week at Homestead, and didn't really see much of him at the front there at Homestead. It was kind of waiting until that race got closer to the end when he really showed his true colors and had the right pit strategy, right set of tires on at the right time. But looking to lead this thing from the front here, as he was the pole sitter and has been leading ever since. And you see right there, I think that's a good example of what you can't do. That's a little bit too much throttle there from the birthday boy coming out of the corner, and loops it a little bit coming off there and into the wall. Looked like he might have brought it into the pits as well. Jeremy Gill still leads the way. Christian Proctor finished second to him last week. He's second to him right now. Timothy Presley or I'm sorry, not Timothy Presley. I have the wrong thing up here. It is Drafty Beef in third. Matt Ulmer and James Smith maybe doing a little bit of battling here as Ulmer now moves into fourth place, Smith into fifth, and you got Lanier, Minor, White, Osborne, and Jones for that top 10. But it's still quite a ways to go yet. But with that being said, I mean, we're already a third of the way through this race, and it just takes a little bit of a green flag run, and it just, you snap your fingers and it's gone. I mean, these drivers have so much fuel in the cars that they don't really necessarily need to pit until past the 100 lap mark. But you're going to be one to pit for that for tires. I mean, the tires they wear down so much here at on this concrete track. But you can't pit because you pit under caution here. You're not going down one lap. You're not going down 2 laps. Most likely, even if you're at the front of the field, you could be going down 3 laps. And with this thing being a single pit lane tonight, there's a chance maybe even go down 4 laps. I mean, it is a real gamble to make a green flag pit stop here tonight. And I mean, we're on a nice little green flag run here. You're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you got to pit, you got to pit.
I mean, yeah, you're definitely going to find yourself in a situation where you need some gas to at least finish this thing out. Whether it's just gas and go, or, taking 2 tires and going, depending on how many laps are going back, or, how much fuel even. So, yeah, I don't know what kind of homework these drivers have from week to week in preparation for, their races. I know a lot of drivers tend to do the get laps out there. How fast can I go? And, maybe like, I'll practice pitting later type of thing. But yeah, like you said, single pit lane here. That's pretty much a whole lap in the pits down at low side. And I think I've seen some people, but we got a car around and another caution flies here. So it looks like Thomas Osborne involved in this one here on lap 58 of 150. So we'll go back here and see what happened with the 57. Oh. 741 to get together right there in front of the 17.
Ooh. Yeah, big damage to the front there, and Joshua King there in the 17 definitely had a pretty fast car last week at Homestead and just didn't get the finish that he certainly deserved. And now some early damage here to the 17, lost the hood. You see it still bouncing around down there on the inside, but this is going to give a chance now for all the drivers to once again catch their breath. And I think, Jimmy, we may see quite a bit, if not the entire field, come down here, because they're good to go to the end on fuel. You can't really mess around. You got to come in here. You got to take that pit stop while you can. If you have to deal with the tires the rest of the way, it is what it is, but you don't want to be forced to make a green flag pit stop if you don't have to, and this very well could be the one and only pit stop for a lot of these drivers.
Yeah, it just depends. I mean, obviously you don't want to give up that track position. If you're gonna have to learn how to, hopefully you can drive on some used tires, especially if you're up front. But yeah, could be the only stop for some of these drivers. Obviously, we've seen Gill and Proctor and DB, running well last week. So here it is again. So you can see it was the 6, I think, went by. Sean McLean is still down the pits, but heading to the other side. So yeah, very, very super long pit entrance for some of these drivers, as they do have cars on each side. So just a few here in the back. It looks like 3. But Sean McLean being one of those 3 here tonight on that backside. So interesting. Very, very interesting for sure.
I want to thank everyone out there once again for tuning in here tonight. It's fun getting up here in the booth and getting to just sit back and watch these drivers out here, no matter what the skill level is, because we've all been here. I mean, we've all come from whatever platform it is, whether it's from the old Papyrus NASCAR games on the PCs, whether it's coming from console games, no matter what. At least for me, you come into iRacing thinking, okay, well, I've done plenty of racing games. I know what's up. I'm going to be able to hop in here and do something. Oh no, there is a learning curve, to say the least. You will absolutely hate it. You'll not want to do anything about it. You'll put in so much time in practice. Like, why am I even doing this? Why am I wasting my time? But you start to learn the nuances. You start to learn how actual cars feel out there, because it's why it's called a simulator. It's not a game. It simulates the actual cars, the actual tracks. It simulates everything as close to real as possible. And that was a real slide there from the 4. It's gonna cost him the lead, and you see those tires are still angry, and he's still fighting it. The more you fight it, the worse it's gonna get, and we'll see if he can get through the next corner here without any kind of issues. And that's one thing we haven't really talked about, Jimmy. You get a car sideways a little bit. If you're lucky enough to save it, you're probably gonna have to save it 4 or 5 more times.
Yeah, and you can see what happened. And right now, I just look up ahead there, and it looks like DB has crashed. So Drafty Beef going for a ride here. We'll sign to find out what happened, as he was able to sneak in a second place after Jeremy kind of went through, but you just see sliding sideways coming off the corner. No damage there to the 2, but definitely got to get that car going in the right direction, as he's lost some precious and valuable time. But caution flies here again on lap 66. So closing in on that halfway mark here, as it looks like Robbie Miner and Matt Bryant get together. We'll see what happens live here. So 53 is back there is the 1 getting into the 57, but our focus there is on the 53 and 41. So 53 you can see getting loose. Like
a big old bobble.
Yeah, got a bobble. 41 with nowhere to go is going to get into the side of the 53. And the 53 of Robbie Miner is having a great run. He was up like 14, 15 spots at the time. So definitely going to be a little bit of a challenge there. As some cars still trying to avoid. Everybody obviously told to hold their brakes if something's happened. It looks like those 2, but somebody's got to move. Oh, 87, not quite clearance from 41.
But, and that's one thing I'm surprised it doesn't happen maybe more often here at Bristol. I mean, you got so much going on here in such a tight little spot. When it comes to PC wise and the internet wise. I mean, you got obviously if you have the stands showing, you got all the fans up there, everything like that. The lights going all the way around here. I know it's only a little half-mile track, but all these cars, pretty much always grouped together here in one little spot. I'm surprised there's not more issues when it comes to to netcode, and then to guys blinking out or guys having some kind of issues here. But whatever they did coding Bristol, it's worked out pretty nice. I haven't really ever seen too many big bad issues. It's crazy. You see them on some other tracks that don't really have hardly any stands other than on the front stretch, and you see it really bad, really prevalent on the straight on the front stretch, and then it's fine the rest of the way. And I expected kind of Bristol be the same, but it holds up pretty well. But we're chugging along here, as we are already getting deep into in the night here. We're getting close to the halfway mark. Going to be completing the first 70 laps here very soon. It is now Christian Proctor in the lead. He's going to be in the control car this time, as the front 2 have swapped, with the 4 almost swapping ends and saving it quite a few times. But he moves himself back up into second, with Drafty Beef having the issue, who's now back there in 7th. So pretty good recovery, a quick recovery to get him back out there, still in the top 10. 13 going to lead him back to green, as it looks like we're still shuffling around, getting into the right spots. Hopefully no black flags here to get this thing going, as it looks like everybody maybe just in the right spot at the right time, but green flag is out either way. We're racing again here at Bristol, getting close to that halfway point.
Yeah, and it's, obviously just a few laps. I think the admin's trying to shuffle people around the best they can. I'm sure maybe they'll have that comp caution. They've had one in the past 2 weeks, but we just got out of the caution, so we'll see how long they take before they actually push it. They might push it up to that 85 or 90, but ooh, this 69 trying to hold his brakes. They get around him there, but definitely another incident there on the back stretch. Caution is going to fly here at lap 73, and then it's on Jarrett Martin. So you're going to see this here all over again. Oh, it's called it on the double. The caution came out for the 00. Wow, Iracing, let's go on.
Yeah, it looks like it was thrown by Shane again. It looks like the admin is controlling the cautions here tonight, which is a good thing. And I'm assuming that's because the Iracing automatic cautions are not on for this one, but it's going to bring us under another caution right about at the halfway point. And once again, this is a race of just get to the end, survive to the end, and have a car that's not too far down in the running order, that's got all its fenders on there, and give yourself a shot. But I mean, you take a look at what's left out there. The top 10 is all we have on the lead lap at this point, which is pretty crazy at the halfway point. I mean, we had one decent little green flag run there, but all these cars being a lap down is all really just from the issues out there. And unfortunately, a couple of the guys that we talked to before the race started here, we'll bring in one of them, and that's going to be the 94 of Robert Altman. And Robert, it looked like a pretty decent start for you. You were hanging out just outside the top 10, and then all of a sudden Bristol decided to bite you with maybe a little bit too much throttle coming out of the corner, and it kind of been slipping back ever since.
Oh yeah, pretty much. I don't think my computer's liking all these cars on the track in Bristol right now, so she's stuttering in the turns a little bit. So
it's kind of funny. I literally just got done saying that I'm surprised that it doesn't happen more often. There's so much graphically going on here at Bristol. I'm surprised more people don't have an issue, but yeah, that doesn't surprise me that you're having an issue, unfortunately. But I mean, how is the car handling for you out there? For me, just running some laps in practice, it was with full fuel, but it seems like you goose that throttle a little bit too much out of the corners, and you're going to find the back end becomes the front end real quick.
Oh yeah, if you give it just a touch too much or just a little too much turn, she will spin on you.
Well, hopefully you get to get some more positions here, as you're certainly not the only one multiple laps down right now. It seems like it's a war of attrition for sure out there, as you mentioned before. We'll let you go back out there and hopefully pick up some more positions before this thing's over.
Yeah, hopefully.
That is, again, the driver of the 94, Robert Altman. We're going to get this thing back underway here one more time, and we'll see what these boys have to offer for the second half of this race, as we're on lap number 77 right now. Proctor going to lead them back to the green flag. The pace car is in. They'll head to the front stretch, and we are racing again here at Bristol. Proctor, good jump there on the inside. The 4 of Gill going to jump right down to the inside in second. Third is going to go to Ulmer, and then you got James Smith right there in the 9. Lanier for the top 5, then Beef, White, Jones, Osborne, and Chapman Jr. making up your top 10. And only 11 cars right now, as we mentioned. Joshua King and Chapman battling right now for that last spot in the lead lap right now. A couple of guys a lap down, quite a few, more than half the field, multiple laps down.
Yeah, it's got a car going around. What was that? That was like Tom
Maybe
Lanier,
99's a little bit slow.
Yeah.
Back going here. Oh, and a touch there to Joe Thomas as he's sideways in the corner and gets clipped. And that may end up bringing out another caution here, and indeed it will. The 99 was a little slow, but then it looked like there was a little bit of a bump to the back end of Thomas, and that's what started this little chain reaction. You see the 99 right there on the inside. They go 3 wide, and actually it was the 99 that Thomas got into. And then a pretty
Six.
big hit there.
Yeah, the 6 taking its toll here tonight. Sean McClain getting in and wrapped up there with Joe Thomas. So spins Joe around. Joe just, I think, brings it right down the pits. Just take that end of the line penalty for pitting under caution or before caution. I forget what it's called. But you bring that car down in there.
Hitting before it's open.
Yeah, right? It's not open yet.
Yeah.
It's not open yet. But anyways, definitely, come down there and get that 218 fixed. The drivers, like you said, they have 2 fast repairs. But it hasn't saved some of these drivers from going laps down. And that I think a lot of that has to deal with Iracing not throwing the yellows here. And they had been taken over to make sure that these drivers are served with their yellow flags and can get their cars repaired, things, because if you just let this thing go green, though it'd be kind of fun to watch, it becomes quick mayhem and almost like a demolition derby, as all the drivers would be trying to.
You want to talk about who's going to survive? just let this thing go green. We'll see if anybody survives.
Yeah, I mean, it's like iRacing's version. It would be iRacing's version of Wreckfest. I've seen an endurance event here held by some individuals, and it was a 24-hour event, with multiple drivers, and they were driving the Miata. So 24-hour event here with the Miata with multiple drivers. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy.
I seen another one where they did it with, I think it was the LMP2s, the prototypes, and it was just, once they wrecked, it was you want to talk about the big one at Talladega that had nothing on this. I mean, it was just carnage and parts and things flying all over the place. I know for us in our league in Core, we've had some pretty fun races here with the off-road trucks, whether it's on the asphalt, whether it's on the dirt. They put on some great races here with the trucks kind of sitting way up there on their suspension. But we got plenty of racing here yet for the Hold Your Brakes Academy here tonight, presented by pinupsforvets.com. And once again, thank you to Joe Thomas for the series sponsorship, but also thank you to Robert Altman for the race sponsorship here tonight. And the winner, well, I'll start with this. The winner is going to get paid. As looks like, are we not live? Because I just heard green flag, but I see we're still pacing.
Yep, we're live.
There we go.
I got too involved in the action. But yeah, we're on lap 86 now, and looks like Christian Proctor looking to maintain that lead over Jeremy Gill. Jeremy Gill looking to the low side, but we know that track position is very big out here on this track, and obviously you can pass, but it's all about kind of like about the tires in that right spot. Very hard to get going, but another caution flies here, as looks like a few individuals, James Smith, Robert Altman again, and Dave Chapman possibly being involved. So we'll go up there with see what happened with James Smith, just drifting up there, getting tagged by the 23.
Yeah, it was like 23 of Ulmer getting into the 54, and some hard impact there for him is going to send him around. And this is
nowhere to go.
The 9, actually. I was going to say, I don't see the 54. It's actually the 9 on your time and scoring, but you see the 88 involved, the 00, the 94, as Jimmy mentioned. A little mini melee here on lap number 87. As I was mentioning, the winner tonight is going to get $17. But the other prize for tonight, which I'll be surprised to see what it actually is. But the driver with the least amount of X's, the least amount of incident points here tonight gets $10. And yeah, I mean, I know you got a couple of these guys up here at the front. I mean, we've seen quite a bit of Proctor and Gill, as they pretty much dominated the front of this field for quite some time. Drafty Beef now back up into third. Ulmer and White for your top 5. They've been pretty clean. I haven't seen too much other than Gill getting out of shape a little bit, but I don't even know if I've seen any kind of wheel scraping or anything like that. The winner cannot claim the the cleanest driver award here tonight, because he's already going to get paid the $17. So it'll be second place on back will be eligible. But who's going to finish with the least amount of X's? Is it going to be under 10? I guess that's really the question. And for those of you that don't know exactly what we're talking about, incident points in iRacing can happen in multiple different ways. Typically, you'll get a 1X or 1 incident point if you scrape the wall a little bit, or if you cut a corner or go off track. A lot of times that'll be a 1X. If you have a slight little contact with another car, a lot of times it'll end up being a 2X. And then if you have a decent amount of contact with another car, it ends up being a 4X. And some series and some leagues have a limit on how many you can do before you're booted from the race. Some have a limit on how many you can have until you have to serve a drive-through or stop and go or whatever kind of penalty. Here tonight, it's for the Hold Your Own Brakes Academy. It is you can have as many as you need. There is no limit on the X's, but there is a payout for the one that has the least amount. So we'll see who that is at the end of the race. But we are back to racing here as Proctor gets a good jump here once again. And once again, Gill jumps into second. Beef is going to slide there into third. And then we got the 23 of Ulmer grabbing fourth place. It's single filed out pretty quickly here at the front, but it's been, for the most part, clean at the front. It's kind of that mid-pack, that hornet's nest, that just craziness at the mid-pack, and right on cue in the mid-pack. The 53 gets a little loose, maybe scared the 99 a little bit, and some big impact here once again.
Yeah, big race implications there by some of them drivers getting involved there. The 44 getting involved, along with Tom Lanier. So we'll see. We'll go back, see what happened with Tom. There's a few others that got involved as well, but see the 99 getting at the back of the 53. The 99 looking to avoid, but man, that thing just snaps to the right, goes right up in front of the 44. Obviously in the air, can't control it. 41 hits the 99, keeps going. Does look like some hood damage on the 41. Then 6 barely gets around. 87 doing their best to get around. It looks like the 0 getting down there and around as well. So few casualties here. Again, getting a little bit later in the race. We're on lap 97 of 150, and it won't be long before this thing's over. I'm sure some of these drivers are hoping to be over maybe just a little bit sooner, as their luck has been running out here, or running very thin. As Christian Proctor is in the lead over Jeremy Gill. Drafty Beef's in third. Matt Ulmer's in fourth. Andrew Jones sits in fifth. And you have Zach White, Thomas Osborne. And then Joshua King is out there in P8, and then P9 is Timothy Presley, and 11th of Matt Bryant. Your last car being on the he's the first lap. He's the first car lap down. So only one car looking to maybe get back in the lead lap. Another quick caution would do it there for Matt Bryant. But then you have James Smith, Tom Lanyers, Sean McLean, David Chapman, Kelly Akron, Tiffany Ellis, Jarrett Martin, George Ledesma, Robert Altman, Joe Thomas, Robert White, William Martin, Steve Harrison, Ryan Perrone, Tristan Miner, Quinn McLean, and Shane King dipping out to control the race here tonight. So definitely probably needed. Probably maybe he was struggling just a little bit as well, but see the 17 getting out there. Maybe no fast repair left. Definitely missing the hood. Won't have to worry about that car overheating.
Yeah, I mean, a track like this, you're not too worried about aerodynamics. So I guess if you can make the car a little lighter, do it. Take the hood off. Heck, rip the back bumper off while you're at it. I mean, the lighter the car, the faster it should go. As we're going to get back in line here to get this thing underway. And we're going to start lap number 100. So 51 laps to go here in this race. And I know there's quite a few cars that don't mind all these cautions too much. The top 5 or so, I'm sure, don't mind it. Maybe even the whole top 10 doesn't mind all these caution laps. Get you a little bit closer to that finish line and get you a good finish here in the top 10. Matt Bryant would certainly love another caution here to get himself back on the lead lap, but we are back to racing here. This time a good battle here and at turn number 1. Not an easy jump there for Proctor as Gill gave him a little bit to think about side by side, and now Gill's going to dive it down and take a little peek to the inside for the lead, but not going to happen. This is the other thing that can happen and maybe is happening here that we're seeing is cautions breeding cautions, and once you get a race that has 2, 3, 4 cautions, the drivers start getting a little antsy, thinking that, okay, well, I need to be a little bit more aggressive. I need to make passes quick because the next caution is probably, another lap or 2 down the road. So I got to make this pass now, and I don't have time to set up a pass. And that's where you can get aggressive driving. That's where you can get more cautions. So it doesn't necessarily help out the situation. But hopefully we get a green flag run to the end here. Obviously, everybody is good to go on fuel. Maybe not good to go on nerves at all for a lot of these drivers anymore, but we still got 10 guys on the lead lap. We'll see who's going to bring this thing home. Right now, Proctor leads Gill and Ulmer for the top 3.
Yeah, Proctor doing a good job getting out front, held back. Gill behind him there for the restart. It does look like Matt Ulmer has gotten around Drafty Beef there for that 3rd position, so move the 23 up front. You see the 23. You talked about, maybe driving a little bit higher line. He's driving that middle high line. So it's right in the middle, but kind of focused a little on the higher side as he makes me a liar and dips down low. But either way, the 23, I think, trying to fend off the number 2 of Drafty Beef. So good drive right now for Matt Ulmer, up 2 spots. Drafty Beef up 5. Zach White back there in the 77. Royalty Machine. Definitely got some speed here tonight, up 5 spots as well.
Well, I got to mention a couple other drivers out there, and it's drivers that we talked about at the beginning of the race when we had that first little spell of 4, 5, 6 incidents, and we didn't have a caution yet until the league owner here, Shane, hopped in and threw the caution, and that was the 2 drivers that started on that 3rd row, being Timothy Bresley and Kelly Akron.
Oh.
Kelly, unfortunately, was stuck, as we may have another caution here. Oh, big impact there for the 00 and the 4. The 41, and we'll bring in another caution. But I was talking about Kelly Akron. Unfortunately, didn't catch the right end of everything and ended up going several laps down. Still 5 laps down, but up in the 16th. And as you remember, all the way back towards the back half of the 20s was the 19 until we started getting some more cautions to move their way up. But the other driver, Timothy Presley, on the lead lap in the top 10. So heck of a comeback for the number 1 here, as you see the incident here, maybe a little bit between the 87 and the 00. But then it was hard impact here as the 41 came out of the turn, nowhere to go except hard into the back of the 00 here. Bringing out another caution here as we are in the late stages now of the race here at Bristol.
Yeah, definitely getting to them late stages, where the drivers are now starting to think like, all right, I'm having a bad race. I need to finish this thing off strong. Just kind of, stop the bleeding for the points, So see some drivers coming in, getting tires, knowing that they have a few in the bank here. Good time to come in, get that car fixed, repairs or fast repair or whatever it may be, get back out there. Here comes a pace car, so some of these drivers might find themselves going a couple more laps down. There comes the leaders here. One more time. But definitely going to go by there, and it looks like who did that step out in front? I'm not sure who. Somebody come in early. That was a 41.
To me, this is a little surprising that we have everybody inside the top 10 coming into the pits. Nobody trying to stay out there and try and get some track position, because we've seen now that we've had so many cautions that track position by itself is nice to have, as you see right there. Joshua King, a little splash and go, gets himself to the front of this field. Looks like Robbie Minor going for the same deal here. So maybe they didn't have enough fuel to get all the way to the end. Maybe our calculations were a bit off, but they're definitely good to go to the end from here. It's going to shake up the front. And this is the first time, I believe, all race that we've seen somebody other than Christian Proctor or Jeremy Gill at the front of this field. It's going to be Joshua the Viper King in the lead, and he certainly would like a little bit of a bounce back after, again, last week felt like he should have came away with a lot better win, or a lot better finish than he did. But unfortunately, some bad circumstances cost him not only a top 5 that he should probably been due, but even a top 10, finishing back there in 13th. But has the 17 at the right spot, maybe at the right time here, as we're going to complete lap number 113 this time by, and we're getting down there. We're down to 37 laps left in this race. We're down to not that many cars left on the lead lap. A little bit of a rough start there from the front row because they don't have those new tires. Can they hold on? Proctor already around into second place, looking ready to get to the lead, but you see that number 1, the number 4 there of Gill trying to find a way around as well. Now Proctor's going to go to the high side to try and get around the 17.
Yeah, and obviously the newer tires are going to prevail here eventually, but 17 doing a great job holding on to what they got. Getting a little sideways. 13 getting a little loose. Away he goes. Here goes the 17. Going to walk away with this thing here. Is it Proctor has some problems, so it's going to bring out another caution here on lap 116. So yeah, that's a big one here for our leaders. We'll go ahead and see who else was up there, because
well, you see that the 4 just in front of the 17, he had some kind of issues as well, because he was right there before he had some issues and dropped back. Now he's back there. You see the 4 sitting sideways already on the track. So maybe we need to take a look back and see what happened to the 4. But you see big impact there between the 9 and 41, just trying to miss the sideways parked number 4, Jeremy Gill, and Gill doing the right thing. Adhering to the name of the league, the Hold Your Brakes Academy, and he got spun around there. You see him already loose coming off the corner, and you can see it right there, just a little too much throttle. We just talked to Robert about that, and it's clear and evident right there. Good job saving it, but then gets tagged from behind by Drafty Beef, and it didn't really have anywhere to move with the 53 right there as well of Robert E. Minor, and sends the 4 around, tags the wall, gets sideways, does the right thing, holds his brakes, but unfortunately it's just nowhere to go again for about the 13th time tonight for the 41. He cannot catch any kind of break, and then hard impact there from the 6 is going to send a few of these guys around. You see the 19 coming in there, getting into the 99. This was a pretty big blow for some of these drivers here, and I'm wondering how many are going to be left on the lead lap after this one's said and done.
Yeah, it's going to take a few of these drivers are up front. That list is getting smaller and smaller as who is on the lead lap here. We'll go ahead and bring this up on the tower for everybody out there to see, so you can see where everybody's at. And we got some feedback from Jimmy Crackcorn out there, said that Shane actually got sent to the pits by the iRacing latency rules. So iRacing latency ending Shane's night there, bringing them down the booth. But you can see there is only 10 drivers on the lead lap. There's going to be Joshua King, Drafty Beef, Zach White, Timothy Presley, Matt Ulmer, Robbie Minor, Christian Proctor, Andrew Jones, Thomas Osborne, and Jeremy Gill. So the 4 and the 13th, after battling most of the race up front, find themselves at the tail end of the lead lap. Obviously under the control of the admins now, so caution's getting thrown just a little bit easier here. But we're down to 30 laps, Carl. This could be over in a blink of an eye if they decide to take this thing green.
Yeah, and it's how many cars are going to be left out there on the track. We certainly don't have the 28 that we started with, as we're down to 10 just on the lead lap. The 17 is your control car, going to get him back going here. A little bit of a slip and a bobble because he's got those older tires. Drafty Beef certainly taking advantage of that, and new leader out here is the 2. But you see right behind him, bouncing off the wall there a little bit, but that High Rock number 1 is on the move, involved in that earlier incident that sent him way back in the field. He's back on the lead lap. He's back up to the front, and now he's trying to go all the way to the front. The 1 of Timothy Presley is on a mission, and that mission is get to the front. Mission successful.
Yeah, he definitely great bounce back there as gotten into the wall here. Now to just kind of calm down. He's got that car out front. Now he's just got to keep control of it. You know, obviously, and because the other drivers are going to be trying to push them as well. So, but you know, level them tires out. Just hit your marks. Focus on your drive right now, and try to get the best finish you can. We're on lap 124 of 150. It's only 25 short laps. 13 with a big old bobble again. So Proctor still having issues.
Some big incident behind as well. The 53 gets sent into the wall, and you see the 4 again involved. Going to get it off the track, and we will get another caution here. There's quite a few getting involved. I did see Proctor maybe was kind of the start of that, trying to get to the inside of Drafty Beef and maybe checked up the field here a little bit, but a big impact towards the back there. I think I see was Robbie Minor maybe into the wall pretty hard with the hood up. Take a look back and see what brought this one out.
This is looking back here, just what transpired. See the 13 had a bobble, and he's up high right there in the left hand side of your screen. We'll slow down, but he checks up. But the 4 getting into the 53 down the apron, nowhere to go. 23 tries to squeeze it in there. 53 is going to go up to the wall and bounce. 4 is going to keep going. 53 comes down, misses the 3, but the 4 ends up getting into the 23 down the front stretch there as they go slideways. I'll go back to Robbie Minor. He's down here by himself. It looks like you can see up at the very top of your screen. The 4 still bouncing around, so not too many involved, just big players involved. Obviously, Gill and Proctor after being up front so long. So, and a few other drivers that were having great runs, Robbie Minor being one of them. So hopefully they have fast repairs, get their cars back in order, come back out. 23 laps to go. That's like 5 minutes under green, Carl, if that. And it's definitely going to be a quick one here once they start rolling. But we're going to see where everybody lines up here as we're going about ready to get double file here. Yep, there they are, double file. And it looks like Presley and Beef up front with Joshua King and Christian Proctor, Zach White, Thomas Osborne, Jeremy Gill, Matt Olmar, and Andrew Jones, and I think James Smith, last one up on the lead lap, number 9. So 10 cars on the lead lap, 22 laps to go here at Bristol underneath the lights.
It's kind of amazing. The 13 and 4 enjoyed so much time at the front, and now they're starting to deal with that dirty air back here, and maybe that could be a determining factor here of how they're not able to move up through the field. The 13 tried to get up there quickly. He's still up there in 4th and kind of survived that bobble. The 4 still out there. Definitely got a little bit of damage to the backside of that thing, but it's still rolling around there pretty fast. We'll see if the 4 of Gill can get up there and make it back-to-back to start this season. But he's going to have to pass quite a few pretty decent cars out here tonight. Green flag is back out, and we are racing again, heading off into turn number 1. The 1 going to slide up across the nose of everyone, and looks like he is going to hold on to that top spot for at least the time being. Drafty Beef, Christian Proctor chasing Joshua King and Zach White for your top 5. Another bobble there from the 13. Going to slide him back again.
Yeah, 13 just front just like grabbing it and snapping out to the wall. Had to catch it a few times here tonight, but has moved him back into 6th place. And I think you're right, Carl, with that dirty air. Something we don't think about too much, but it obviously plays a big part here in ovals. Taking things away.
Save there by the 4.
Yeah, he's rear end is pretty trash there as Gill is fighting that car pretty hard. You got some rear end damage there. He's going to lose a few more positions, trying to hold on to that thing, trying to get it to the end as this thing is winding down, trying to stay on the lead lap there, Jeremy, but back down on P number 9 after leading most of the race. Right now it is all Timothy Presley and then Joshua the Viper King in there, and P number 2, Zach White, and number 77 finds himself in P number 3. So just having a doing a great job of just kind of keeping his nose clean here, Carl, and that number 77 machine.
Oh, it's kind of amazing. I mean, when was the last time we talked about Zach White in this race? I don't think we have at all. And all of a sudden he finds himself in a podium position out front. It is Timothy Presley with the great comeback after the early issues. He is leading this thing over Joshua King, looking for that bounce back from last week. Zach White, though, in third. Christian Proctor has moved himself back up into fourth position, trying to run down these podium spots as the time is ticking away. It is 13 laps left in this race, and we'll see if we can get this thing done all the way to the end under green. I mean, you keep this thing on the lead lap, you're guaranteed a top 10 at this point. There's only 10 on the lead lap, and then it's 3 laps down for 11th place or more on back. It's pretty crazy of a drop off right there, but all these cautions got those drivers that were 1 lap down, got them a chance to get back up there, and everyone else is kind of been stuck out there. But again, we talked about Kelly Akron going down a bunch of laps early, was down I think 6 laps at one point, back down only 4 laps and up into 13th after being back there buried in the 20s. Started up there in 4th position, so certainly wanted a better result than this, but all things considered, without the early yellow flags, I think this is kind of best case scenario. It is starting to get down towards the end, and can Timothy Presley make a gigantic comeback and get this win? Started up there in third. He's got the one out front right now, trying to hold off Joshua King, is certainly trying to get a run. Seems like that one is more than comfortable up at the top line. The 7 prefers a low line, and it's giving us a race to the finish.
Yeah, the racing has shifted from mid-pack to the front here. This is the lap, obviously the battle here for the win is the one of Timothy Presley trying to make that huge comeback, getting involved early, having to go to the back of the field, finds himself back in the front of the pack and leading this thing here very late in the game, as we have 6 laps to go. Timothy Presley out front over Joshua King, Zach White, and then Christian Proctor, Andrew Jones there for your top 5, Matt Allmar, James Smith, Jafty Peep, Jeremy Gill, and Thomas Osborne for your top 10, and the drivers on the lead lap. Any one of those drivers could kind of walk away if a little bit of if something kind of happened. But little bobble there by the 1's going to give the odd opportunity back to the 17.
5 laps to go now here at the line. It's only 4 laps to go. 2 miles for Timothy Presley to get this thing done, and looking good so far. Just got to keep that thing off the wall. We've seen him up there bouncing off the wall here and there. It just takes one bounce the wrong way for those tires to get knocked out of alignment and really mess with the handling. If not, sometimes even give you a meatball. And again, for those that don't know, a meatball means you have required damage. You cannot run anymore. It's a black flag. You got to come in. But right now, he's keeping that thing off the wall. What he's got to do here now it is 2 laps to go around this track. So it is coming down to the end here. Timothy Presley doing a good job starting to stretch his legs here a little bit. White flag in the air. 2 more corners to get around here for Presley, up towards the wall again. Might even got into it again, but he keeps it going here. A little bit of lap traffic coming to 3 and 4, but no traffic from behind. He's going to hold off Joshua King. Timothy Presley, your winner here. Maybe better said, your survivor here at Bristol, getting it done here in the 1. Joshua King in 2nd. Great run for Zach White coming home in 3rd. Proctor's going to have to settle for 4th. Ulmer, a good job keeping that 23 up there. He's going to come home in 5th. Smith, Jones, Beef, Gill, and Osborne going to round out your top 10 and your final guys on the lead lap, as the Coliseum certainly had some gladiators out here tonight, and there was plenty of parts flying around, plenty of battling going on, but right now the one celebrating on the front stretch is the one of Presley.
Yeah, it's obviously a little bit of perseverance there by the 1, having a very fast lap as well. The fastest lap of the race, matter of fact. So with a 14.993. So definitely a great run for the number 1 to kind of come back after maybe just getting a little bit free there with the gas pedal early on, sending them backwards. But definitely a great run, great comeback. That's what drivers should be striving to do. Get out there, learn the track, get better. If you make a mistake, don't call your night too quickly, as you can earn valuable experience driving out there. And you can see the one floating in the air. I don't think I've ever seen that.
He's heading up to the victory lane up there, which some of these drivers were practicing in practice here, but up onto the victory lane stage as
That's invisible to me.
yeah, it's apparently not on. Yeah, I'm looking at the broadcast here, and yeah, he's burning out in midair. But I promise you, he is up there on the top of the building there for victory lane, as he is your winner here tonight. Give you a full rundown of tonight's results. Again, Presley getting the win here by 1.14 seconds over Joshua King, Zach White, Christian Proctor, Matt Ulmer for your top 5, James Smith, Andrew Jones, Drafty Beef, Jeremy Gill, and Thomas Osborne for your top 10. Tom Lanier, David Chapman, Kelly Akron, Tiffany Ellis, Jorge Ledesma Jr. for your top 15. Sean McLean, Robbie Miner, Matt Bryant, Jarrett Martin, and Robert Altman for your top 20. Running out the rest of the field is going to be Joe Thomas, Robert White, William Martin, Steve Harrison, Ryan Perone Sr., Tristan Martin, Quinn McLean, and Shane King for your 28-car field. We'll get your top 3 here in to the booth here in a second, but Jimmy, Bristol can certainly, again, it's the last great Coliseum. I think kind of showed its teeth here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely kind of showed these drivers that you can't just hit the gas and turn left at the same time. It doesn't always work that way. There's a lot of finesse with these cars and learning to, when to get on the gas, how hard to get on the gas, how long to let that car just ride. And a lot of these shorter tracks, it is a key element. Not getting impatient, putting unwanted stress on the tires. And really slowing you down in the long run, whether it's lack of traction or just you can't turn laps worth the darn. But definitely something that you need to pay attention to when you're learning these cars is definitely managing the tires. So, but the drivers that have kind of made out, I think at the beginning, I think we might have had a few more cars in the lead lap, Carl. Obviously with Iracing not taking over them, some of those crazy incidents early on put some of those cars in a position to be quite a few laps down. And that might have hurt their chances for a really good race tonight. But either way, as long as the drivers kind of got out there, they learned something, move on to next week and put on some pretty decent racing here overall, especially during the second half of the race here. And that's kind of the way things kind of work, as people start getting a little more comfortable with the track. So just looking forward to talking to the drivers here for the top 3. So looking forward to seeing Timothy, Josh, and Zach up here shortly.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and start our interviews off with our third place finisher. But before we do, just want to send a thank you out once again to the series sponsor, Joe Thomas, and pinupsvervets.com, and then also the race sponsor here tonight, being Robert Altman for the Turtle Bash 150. And fortunately, we don't get to talk to Robert after the race here in the top 3, but we'll wish him another happy birthday from the CRN booth. But we'll start with our interviews here post-race with the top 3. And third place here tonight is going to be the driver of the 77, Zach White. And Zach, kind of a maybe not from behind the wheel, but in regards to you here from the booth, a quiet race. We haven't really talked much about you all race, but that's not necessarily a bad thing when it comes to Bristol.
Not at all.
So what was it like out there behind the wheel? I mean, I know we talked to a couple of drivers out there, and they were mentioning, myself included, how it's really touchy getting on the gas coming out of these corners. But I mean, what was the mindset out there? Just kind of survive and find your way to the end?
Very much survival of the fittest, and don't burn your tires off.
Yeah, that was kind of going to be my next question: is how the tires were holding up. I know you guys got a lot of caution laps out there, so you didn't really, drive hard on them. But you had a nice little green flag run at one point. Were the tires really wearing in with this concrete track?
Me personally, no, not at all. This is probably one of my top tracks.
Well, and it worked out pretty nicely here as you get yourself a top 3, get yourself a podium. So before we let you go and get out of here, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
I want to give a shout out to Royalty Motorsports, SM Racing Products, Majestic Promotional and Branded Apparel, and PGHA Designs.
Congrats again on your top 3 here tonight. We'll see you next week and see if you can come up here and talk to us again.
Will do. Have a good one, guys.
You too.
You too, buddy. That is your 3rd place finisher, the 77 of Zach White. 2nd place here tonight and getting that bounce back that he certainly wanted is going to be the 17 of Joshua King.
Hey, Josh, Jimmy Carl, the Blue Cabby.
Yeah, what's up, guys?
One heck of a run there, buddy. As you had some your hands full for a majority of the race, finding yourself towards the back. I've seen you some incidents, but that purple and green machine comes out of nowhere up front after a great decision to kind of stay out and work that number 17 forward. Proctor and Gill just continuing to have issues allowed you to kind of run away with Timothy Presley, and I thought there for a moment that you were going to have a run for the lead, but looked like once you started getting close, Tim kind of opened up the throttle just a little bit more, kind of putting him out a reach for the finish. But either way, you find yourself in 2nd place and a great finish. So kind of give us a rundown on your side of the story.
Yeah, man. So early in the race, my first issue, randomly my screen froze for like 3 seconds. And at a short track, that's enough to ruin your night if you don't have a fast repair. So put me into the wall, had a meatball, went in, compounded the issue with a pitting penalty, automatically 2 laps down and out of fast repair early. So just kind of grinded away from there, found another incident, saved the fast repair, and then I think it was like lap 105 around there. I pit for tires. I knew there were only like 9 cars on the lead lap. Got another caution quickly. I think it was 115. That's where I decided to stay out and not take tires, but I did, or not stay out, I should say. I decided not to take tires, but I went in to get my fast repair because all the leaders went in, which naturally put me at the top. And I knew I had like 5 to 10 laps older tires, but with the green flag runs, knew I had an opportunity also. And we just put it together with some strategy and hung in there. It was cool. Feels good. I needed a bounce back week after what happened to me last week. And so yeah, 2nd place feels pretty good. Congrats to Timothy Presley. He ran a heck of a into the race there. Came back from 3 laps down to get the win. Good to see some new blood up in the top 3, and then 2 Royalty Motorsports drivers, 2nd and 3rd. So I'm happy for sure.
Yeah, it definitely was an up and down night, even extending from last week. I mean, you start this thing off and you're like, oh no, not again. And like you
For
said,
sure.
that the whole story to come back and put yourself in that right spot at the right time is awesome to see. And you can tell that you're a little bit excited about it, and it's good to see. And obviously from CRN, we wanted to say congratulations and give you a little time for maybe some shout outs on that number 17.
Yeah, for sure. So number 1, shout out to you guys for coming on. I mean, it's so awesome, and we're all so excited to be able to watch it back and actually enjoy the broadcast again. And so that's really cool. So thank you. Shout out to my teammates here and everywhere Royalty Motorsports. I mentioned Zach and myself with top 3s. Matthew Ulmer at top 5, Drafty Beef at top 10. So we had a lot of strong runs. Thomas Osborne was in there. We got a lot of people in here. But yeah, overall, really nice run for Royalty Motorsports. Like to thank SM Racing Products, Majestic Promotional and Branded Apparel. They do all our apparel and merchandise for the team and for the network. So yeah, and shout out to Shane for putting all this on. It's been unreal to see how it's grown and really taken off, and just the attitudes overall. And now we got a quality broadcast team with us, and future is bright. It's really cool to see. Thank you guys.
Definitely appreciate the shout outs, and again, congratulations. I'll let you go celebrate with that, friends and family.
Appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a good night.
You too, Josh.
That is your second place finisher here tonight, the 17 of Joshua King. Winner here tonight is going to be the one of Timothy Presley. Tim, you didn't exactly have a high rock kind of start here. It was a bit of a rough start there. After starting up there on the second row, it looked like you were set up to have a good one here tonight, and kind of where you want to be to start at Bristol, ahead of maybe some of the melee. But you get caught up in an incident right away at the beginning, set you way back. That didn't deter you one bit.
No, sir, it definitely didn't. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. I mean, knowing that I was 3 laps down, I thought for sure whenever I got into that wreck, I thought, this has got to be awful. I really got to rely on my faster pairs here. So that's what I did. Just kept my head down, stayed in the game. One thing led to another, and here we are in victory lane.
It was kind of amazing that both you and Kelly, starting on that second row, both had issues right from the beginning, and you both got sent way toward the back. But both of you was just kind of in the right place at the right time to catch some of those laps back and wave arounds to get yourself way back there. And I noticed kind of around lap 100 or so that you finally made your way back onto that lead lap. You're back there in 10th place, but man, some late pit stops and some late tires really brought that number one alive.
Yeah, as soon as I got that first lucky dog, I was 2 laps down after getting that wave around the first time, and I thought, I might actually have a chance at this thing. So I just kept digging, kept giving it everything I had, got that other caution, got the lucky dog again, realized, hey, I'm on the lead lap. And I just went for it, gave Drafty a good push on that restart, got out front, was hoping there wasn't another caution. Sadly, there was. But honestly, I just got lucky holding off Josh for that win.
Yeah, well, that was going to be my next question. It seemed like you preferred that high line, that middle to high line going corners. It bit you a little bit a couple times, getting up a little bit too close to that wall. But it was exactly the opposite for Joshua, running that bottom line. Were you ever concerned about him getting a run there on the bottom, or were you just more comfortable being up there on top?
Oh, very much. I was mirror driving that entire last run. I was so paranoid because I would see him get a little bit closer, then I'd pull him on the straightaways. I thought at some point he was going to get alongside of me. I thought we were going to get together. Really thought we might have wrecked across the line or cost both of us the race at some point, but we stayed clean, stayed green, and here we are.
Well, you certainly had some speed last week at Homestead that didn't culminate into a top 10. You didn't waste any time with the top 10 or top 5. You just went right to the top spot here tonight. So congrats on the win here and a heck of a comeback. Who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to before we let you go?
Oh, thank you so much, and a huge thanks to MKM Racing Development, JMR for letting me run one of their cars, Revved Up Racing for letting me run with them as well throughout the season. Just everybody back at the shop, New York Racing, running in the Cup Series. Just can't give a big enough thanks to them. Once again, MKM Racing Development, all the guys in the shop working at the Cars Tour there, just everybody that makes this possible.
All right, buddy. Well, congrats again on the comeback win here tonight. We'll let you go celebrate. We'll see you next week. See if you can maybe duplicate it at the Rock next week. Thank you so much. We're trying to go 2 for 2 here. All right, buddy. That is your winner here, the one of Timothy Presley, getting it done here at the rough and tough Bristol. Well, it's going to get pretty rough and tough next week as well. Heading to Rockingham, as that track is slightly bigger, just a little bit closer to a regular size track, as Jimmy may call it. But man, it is rough. It is bumpy. It is, as I've said before, you just take the first 4 letters of that track name, and that's what it feels like you're driving on. It feels like you're driving on rocks. I mean, I feel like you should probably drive that track with a Pro 2 truck instead of one of these cars out here. But they're gonna have to deal with those bumps and try and keep those tires pointed the right way next week. But Jimmy, before we wrap it up here tonight, Bristol, I think all in all, it's understandable. It's a little rough for some newcomers out here, but I mean, we've seen the best of them have struggles here at Bristol.
Yeah, this track will take your name and bumper pretty quickly. Probably just as fast as many of the other tracks that we have out there to mention, especially like Darlington. With the high speed, it really does minimize your reaction time to slow these things down and avoid other collisions as well. So But I think overall for some newer drivers, Carl, in a new league with some drivers, just now like racing around each other on a pretty consistent basis, I think they did a pretty good job. I mean, I'm sure tempers are probably pretty high on some of the things that I think the beginning threw a lot of drivers off. But some of those drivers that got involved in those earlier things have came back to find themselves, in podium positions. So, it's on the drivers, and they put on a good show here tonight. And they've learned. I'm sure they learned a lot. I'm sure they'll be looking forward to the next races to come. And obviously we'll be here to put on that show. So want to just thank everybody out there. It continues to show up here at CRN. If you haven't already, please hit that thumbs up, like and subscribe. Got a lot, about 38% non-subscribers out there. When I mean subscribe, it's free. It's basically just like a follow. You just you help the algorithm out just a little bit, and it pushes the numbers up. So if somebody's out there looking for maybe an iRacing race to watch, they'll stop in here to see not only your favorite driver, but they might become their favorite driver. So you never know who's out there. So hit that like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and definitely we'll see you next week.
Yeah, it's twice the size track, and I'm sure just as much fun next week as we'll tune in, and hopefully you guys and gals out there do as well. It's been fun here once again for the Hold Your Brakes Academy, but for myself and Jimmy here in the CRN booth, we'll see you at the track.
Peace.